Hi, I'm Frank from iEvolve Design. We're here at Eyes on Sheppard where we're going to be interviewing Fabian and Jean-Philippe from ASAP. We're asking Jason from Eyes on Sheppard to be the spokesperson and asking the questions as a new user for the Smart AI unit that we showcased from Silmo. We're here at Eyes on Sheppard, which is one of the offices that we built and designed in 2020 during the COVID time. And this is the office that we actually won the award with Mido, we got first place with Mido in 2021. So I'm very proud. I'm very proud of this location and of the staff. Here today we've got Jason from Eyes on Sheppard, then Fabian and Jean-Philippe from ASAP. And we're just going to touch again on that interview that I had with Jean-Philippe in Silmo, and where there's a lot of interest in this product. So right now we've taken Jason here, which again he looks after this office here. He's the general everything here right now. He's got hands on everything here. So he's gonna open up the device and gonna ask some questions. And I might chime in back and forth on some of the questions that I've heard from other doctors that I've brought this product to.
Gentlemen, very nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice.
So what I'd like to know, probably just to know a little bit of the history is, I've used different iterations of this with Shamir, and I can't remember whichever supplier had one of these. Where would you think your differentiation is, or what do you think brings this product a step ahead of them?
Jean-Philippe, you want to start with the history?
Yeah, so I can start with the history. In fact, I've created the company in 1994, so 31 years ago. And of course, it was in Europe at the beginning, but in 1996, we opened the office in the United States, and then we start to provide the product in Canada. And the market in Canada and France are quite similar. I mean, we are selling a lot of high-end product. And so that's why one of the first market in North America was Canada at the beginning. And because we were talking a lot, because we were exhibiting to many places, we got a lot of feedbacks from customers. And in 2000, they asked us why you don't do a PD measurement unit. And this is when 26 years ago, we have developed the first PD measurement unit, and we were almost the only one on that market. And I think that the main step, it was 2010 when Steve Jobs decided to launch the iPad. Because at that time, the PD measurement unit, it was big, measurement tower, expensive. And we had an idea. We say, well, why we don't take that iPad and we try to digitize the optical shop and put it and create an app for that. That's why we have created a smart mirror. And I think that's it was the main product in order to do not only PD measurement, but also to do simulation of lenses. And from 2010 up to 2024, we sold about 40,000 licenses all over the world. So that means about 15% of the optical shop have our product. But the most important improvement we have made, it was this year, because we have launched Smart Mirror AI. In fact, we try to create the best product, and for us, the best product means the most accurate product. Because today, the progressive lenses are wonderful if you are doing incredible measurement, because you don't need only to have the PD and the fitting height, but you need also to have the pantoscopic tilt, the vertex distance, the frame wrap, and you know how tough it is to take the right measurement. And we had the idea to use AI. It was an 8 years development project. And thanks to our technology, we don't take only one picture, but we take many pictures, and you don't have to do anything. The AI is going to calculate on all the pictures, the PD measurements, the fitting height, and it's going to tell you the most reliable measurement and deliver it to you within a second. So that's about the history. I would say that we have some competitors on different market. I mean, in US, we have several competitors. In Europe, it's different one. When we are in Asia, we have competitors in Korea or in Japan. It's always local. I would say it's mainly local production. So that means you were talking about Shamir. It's mainly in North America. We don't really have them in Europe. The main thing is we are really the only one at that time to have developed it on iPad, because iPad it's really inexpensive today. A basic iPad it's about $400. And thanks to the power of the iPad and the CPU A16, you can directly run an AI software from the iPad. So that means you don't use the cloud. You don't need to be connected on Wi-Fi. You can just use the regular iPad. So that's about the history. The focus of the company is to be the most accurate product and the quickest product in order to deliver the measurement. And on the top of that, we are the only product where you can do not only the measurement sit down, but you can also do the measurement stand up. So you can decide according to the habits of your customer.
Wonderful. How's it working out with sunglasses?
So right now it depends on the sunglasses you are using. But if you want to do sunglasses with RX, then you don't need the lenses. So you just put out the lenses. Then and most of the lenses, they are not very dark lenses because the fashion is more light lenses. So you can do the measurement with the lenses. But most of the case, we will not use the lenses and pop out the lenses.
Okay, excellent. Can I ask, I noticed you've got a tab here for education as well. Can I know a little bit more about that?
Yeah, in fact, if we looked at your business, in fact, if you want to succeed in the business, you need 3 very important items. Number 1 is a story. The storytelling is very important. Number 2, the service. But I would say that you all have a different story about what you are doing, the product you would like to sell. For the service, I would say that in Canada, you deliver an incredible service. If you do not deliver any service, you are dead. So the third thing, very important, is the customer experience. And our idea is to help you to build the best customer experience in order to impress the customer. And the customer experience starts with education. When you have a customer that will have glasses for the first time, you need to explain him why. What's the problem? So the image is in front of the cornea or on the back of the cornea, and we are going to put a lens and it will be exactly at the right place and you will be able to have a very sharp vision. This is the first step. The first step is to explain to the customer what is myopia, hyperopia, presbyopia. Then you will need to do the measurement. You will need to select the eyewear, and we have developed an eyewear selection module in our software. Then you will be able also to simulate the lenses. So this is part of the customer experience. So the customer selected their new eyewear. We can take a picture and they can see themselves with the magnification of the eyes or minification according to the lenses they are going to have. Yeah. And then finally, we will have the PD measurement, but it's not over. When the customer will receive his glasses, we have also a delivery module. So that means the customer will have his new glasses, and we are going to use an iPad to check if he can see well in near vision. So all these modules are part of the customer journey. So this is why for us, it's very important to have an educational module.
It's very impressive. It's much more than just an imaging tool. I respect the holistic approach and looking at it from all the steps. I can see why you're in 15% of shops.
Thank you.
Maybe we can share the screen a little bit to show the simulations. So so this is what we're talking about, the education part. So we have 2 tools here. Okay, being able to show the refraction errors. So here you can explain the prescription. So let's say, for example, you have a parent and the child's got a brand new prescription, and the parents don't wear eyeglasses. So here you can explain to parents what the issue is with their kids. So if the child has myopia, you can show how the child sees, how the light enters the eyes, what is how their kids are seeing, and how you're going to correct the defect with eyeglasses. Same thing with hyperopia, same thing with presbyopia, and also with astigmatism. So a nice way to explain the prescription to a patient, because all they see is on the RX is minus, plus, seal, etc. They don't know what it means. So here it's an opportunity for you to be able to show to the patient what that means. Same thing with progressive lens tutorial. We have a simulator that explains to the patient how they're supposed to use their progressive. So this is a great tool for people who were single vision and then turn to be wearing progressive lenses. So we can show the line of sight, we can show the eye movement, and based on that, if you move your eyes or tilt your head down, how you're going to see. So if you tilt your head down with progressive lenses, everything is going to be blurry. The right way to use your progressive is to move your eyes down, right? So same thing with outdoor left, right, and outdoor down, up. So again, simulations, best way to show to the patient how they're supposed to use their lenses so they can understand faster what you're saying. That was it. All right.
So this is part of the educational tab.
Absolutely. Yep.
So where you can, again, it's customer experience, right? So you're getting credibility because you're teaching them.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm in the business all this time and I'm still learning all this stuff. So, imagine the person that's just walking through the door. This is great.
Yeah.
You get that curve.
And generally, I know every office will have their own issues with remakes. Every office has their own individual issues. When I'm up at Seneca and they get all of the offices put together, the number one thing is lack of education to the patient. So you can have all the educated doctors in the world, all the educated opticians in the world. If the patient doesn't understand their part of it, it doesn't mean anything. So educating your patient in such a friendly format and such a visual way, I have no doubt that cuts numbers. Right? 100%.
You're still going to get numbers that they still don't understand.
Yeah, of course.
But definitely, it paints a picture for the average person that will educate to a certain level. You're going to leave the meeting knowing more than when you've entered the meeting, for sure.
Well, I think my first thoughts are, it seems a wonderful and professional and sharp way of setting expectations, because a big part for a lot of opticians is you're sat there, the person's never even walked in, they've never been presbyopic, they've never wanted to spend 300 or 800, and you're sat there just drawing pictures and painting an image in their mind. Whereas with this, you can say, right, you're locked in here, this is what it does. If you don't want to spend that money, this is what it's going to do. But that's your responsibility, that's your decision.
You're showing them the option, right?
Yeah.
Visually giving them an option so that they can understand.
Yeah, I can see that being very helpful. Yeah.
So for instance, you can go to, we talk about lens options, right? So if you go to AR and, if you never had AR, now you can explain it to someone. This is how you're going to drive at night with your eyeglasses if you don't have AR on it. Now, if you have AR, you're going to see like this. So again, it's up to you. But again, it's more like bridging the gap between the way you talk to your patient and what they understand. Sometimes optician, they're going to say AR, CL39, eye index, aspheric lenses. People don't understand what you're saying. Sometimes opticians forget this. They're using the terminology of the industry, but the patient doesn't know what they're talking about. And sometimes, again, there's also a price sticker shock where, they might have insurance. They think they're entitled to a certain amount of money on their eyeglasses. And now they're like, well, sorry, your insurance just covers the basics. So now with this, you're able to explain all the lens options. Why is it better? You know, you can talk about hydrophobic features on this one, scratches, no scratches, etc. So better lenses and all in one. So sometimes people say, okay, well, how come this AR, you know, I have a quote online or from another practice and it costs only $30. How comes yours is $150? I don't understand,
Right.
you know.
Well,
And then they
will
don't,
help the
they,
sale for sure.
yeah,
Because
exactly. So
you're-
now you explain to them, well, the basic one just block the glare, but ours just block all of this. So do you want to see like this or have all of this on your lenses or see like this? And now they understand why they need to upgrade to a better lens.
Yeah.
Same
And
thing
I
explaining.
think, Fabian, to go to your point as well, it seems to be a common occurrence, and it makes sense. You see a lot of people in the industry where you get trained up more and more about the features. We've got every company coming in doing training with us and showing us all of these features. I think it's a bit of a trick where it's tough sometimes for opticians to remember that patients are they're really only focused on benefits. I guess
Yes.
our job to know what those features are. And then it's getting it into the layman's term. So yours is completely focused on benefit, which just seems very, very smart.
Yep.
well, the fact that they're pictures, right? The picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah,
You're actually
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
it. You've already, 15-minute discussion turns into a 1-minute discussion because they can
Yeah.
actually physically see, and
You can focus on the good stuff.
focus
then.
on the good
Yeah, yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So here, for instance, the difference between a tinted lens and a polarized lens,
Excellent.
do you want to drive like this and then this environment or like this? Here, it's hard to see the bikers with polarized lenses. I don't have any problem. So, again, it just makes the optician job a lot easier, and it makes the patient's life a lot easier as well because they understand what the optician is talking about.
Right.
Okay, so again, different settings, different photos to explain different environment, being able to compare, different lenses, lens thickness. A lot of times if you have a strong prescription, people don't understand, the difference between, okay, well, you want a thinner, this is what your insurance will cover on the top. And then on the bottom, you say, well, it's be a very strong prescription. So I'm going to select the thinnest and lightest, and then you can show the difference. All right. So on top, this is what your insurance is covering, but this is what you really want and need on the bottom. So now you can show the difference. Okay.
That's really cool.
And then you can show it, from the top as well. So you can see the edge thickness of the lens here. You can show it on someone's face as well. And see like this, you can change the frame. So you can see in plastic. You can show.
I love that you've gone to the detail of the internal reflection. So if you go, can you go back one slide for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that you've gone to that detail. That I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on this one, it's a great way to explain freeform lenses and a spheric design and compare it with a spherical design for single lenses. A lot of time opticians forget that, you can use freeform for single vision as well. So
yeah,
here you can explain how you will see with conventional lenses and how you will see with freeform. So do you want to see life like this or life like this? Look how much you lose of a performance, or how you will see if you just get the basic lenses. Everything is based on your prescription. So a lot of times, I know if you go to the multifocal lens comparison, you take the prescription here. Let's say patient is -4, but +1 ad. So +1, they're new to progressive. You don't really need the latest and greatest. It's just fancy readers or whatever. So you don't need the latest and greatest, right? So this is how you will see with your progressive. You can move around. But think about all the optician, or like you said, they take a piece of paper and then they're going to draw the hourglass like this, right? The waste of time, and then it doesn't look really professional, or you don't have, a very great patient experience showing it. If you want to sell a lens that's $500, $600, and you take a piece of paper to draw it, you don't look really professional. So here, everything is going to show exactly how you see based on your prescription. So -4 and +1. I come back a few years later, my power hasn't changed, but all of a sudden, I don't see as good for near. So look at the difference with a +250 Now all of a sudden everything is blurry. I have a very narrow near, so I can use this. I can write on the screen. So see my near here. My intermediate is narrow as well. This is my channel here, and I want to sell a better lens to that patient, so I can show how much wider.
I love that.
So look at this, and now this is how much more you can get. Look at your intermediate now. Look at your far and look at your near. It's huge. So you just saved about 5 minutes with a patient explaining this again based on their prescription, and be able to see it, outdoor, and then you can show it in a living room. You can show it in a boardroom, and now you can see it. And you can compare with bifocal, for example. The bifocals, they're only good for the near part here, not for computer vision or not for distance. Like this, you will always have this on. But if you have progressive, you have a nice and smooth transition here. So again, great way for you to explain better lenses to a patient. And once a patient has upgraded to a better lens, it's how to come back to a product that's not as good as what you used to have. So I guess once you have a customer on this, you have them for life on premium lenses.
So it buys you talk time with the customer. See, customers feel shortchanged when you sit down with them for those 30 seconds, right? Yeah, and it's all over. Here you're educating them with why you're making the suggestions. Then you're giving them the options. So you're actually creating a longer discussion, which in turn, 9 out of 10 times,
it'll add value.
It adds value to the works.
So we can show it. We can show all the simulations on stock photos like we have here. We show it also using augmented reality. So we can show you exactly how you will see through the lenses. So exactly how your finished lenses will look like and how you will see through them. And we can also show it to you on your face. So the patient goes over the frame board, take a picture of that frame on their face, and then we can show the simulation like this with the different tints on, etc. So it's pretty powerful.
Excellent.
Okay, so then again, explaining how photochromic lenses work during the day, during the night, in different environments. So yeah, it does it all. It does it all the explaining. And there's always also an information button. So if you have new staff members, you can train them with the system. We see a lot of people use this device to train new staff member as well.
How does it come to play? Okay, so I'm a customer now, and I'm gonna ask you. I've had a lot of success with my Schmier intelligent lens. Okay, I'm very picky. I like my peripheral. I want more options, right? So I've tried Zeiss, I've tried Hoya, but I always kind of end up going back to Schmier. The fact that I like a certain lens, does it come into play with all of these calculations after? Like, are there parameters that work with Schmier that don't work with Zeiss?
To an extent, there's I would call them micro nuances. I think when I started out in this, the designs were hard designs, so each one was probably a bit more locked in. When they went free form and they went to the back of the lens, nearly all of the companies started doing an excellent job. So I think I can't speak for the gentleman, but I'd say when you're talking about premium, elite, and upwards, I wouldn't probably get too specific about the company because I think they can all do that at this stage. I'm happy to have brand loyalty.
So it's not you're not entering into the device. You're not going to put, I'm using a Schmier lens. So you gotta give.
I don't think you see a difference that would be worth showing the patient, like unless you got something really extreme going on. That's my opinion. That's why I don't want my doctors talking about different companies. I finally got us into too much trouble. I just prefer categories, and then we'll figure out why we'd pick one. Unless the patient has a brand loyalty, I try and keep them away from brand loyalty because based on what our margins are or who has the best product. I want to be quite fluid in what I'm recommending or recommending.
Fabian, do you get any questions like that?
Yeah, so our system here is brand agnostic, so you can put whatever you want. Whenever you call it elite or basically we got good, better, best, and then you can go into the system and call it whatever you want. So if you sell,
I was going to ask that. So the client is in control of the
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Okay.
So then it's easier for the optician to say, well, our lens, it's called, if you have your own brand name, right, of your own lens, call it XYZ. So you can show XYZ and you go in the setting and you change that lens to XYZ. So it makes it easier and then if there's something that, you don't show 4 lenses, you only have a package of 3 or 2 lenses you want to show, you can go in the settings and just delete the ones you don't want to show. So you can only show what you want to show.
Wonderful. Okay.
So it's not going to make any difference on what lens. When the machine gives you the
In this practice.
yes.
But somewhere else, depending, say they get an amazing price of one of their lens companies and it's only for a few months. In real time, you can make that your best lens. You can just put that label on it and run with it. So I can see how it would be beneficial for some places. It's just the history of us. We've traditionally stayed away from tying ourselves to one lens company, just getting burnt in the past. But I can see why it would work for a lot of other practices. Okay, what's next, guys? I'm excited.
I want you to, okay, I just gave you the tablet. Okay.
Yep.
Use it.
Okay.
Let's see how simple this is.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Yeah, so
Jean-Philippe made it look so easy.
It is honestly, it's a non-brainer. I mean, it's very intuitive to use. You just open it and you figure it out. That's the simulation particle stuff like that. So you can also use the frame selector. So the frame selector is good to take pictures of patients. So think about the biggest problem that people have when they come to your practice is that they can't see, right? So they need eyeglasses. Mirrors are great, but if you have a strong prescription, you can't see anything in a mirror. So, you don't have any options. Some people, you'll see they come with their own phone. So take pictures, take selfies. Well, the phone is too small as well. So if you go into the frame selection feature of the system, you can see and take pictures of Frank wearing new frames. So you could go over the frame board, select a few frames, take a few pictures. So you can take pictures, you can take videos of Frank wearing his new frames. So now Frank will put his old glasses on, and now Frank will be able to see himself with the new frame on. So it's not like
before and after.
Exactly. So now nothing is virtual. You actually show the actual frame that you were selecting off the frame board, and then you make process of elimination. You delete the frame that you don't like, right? So it makes it easier for the patient to be able to see themselves and not 100% relying on you to choose their frames.
That's wonderful.
Right? So they can see how they will look like before the frame is made.
It can free up that second appointment where they're checking with their family. Like it's all big time. So wait, are you able to send that information to the patient?
Yes, absolutely. So you can take photos. Let me see what we can do here, and then you can show. It will populate the QR code. Let's say that's frame number 1 that you selected. You take one photo here. You take this one here, frame number 2, frame number 3, and let's say again frame number 4. So now you have 4 different pictures. And now what you can do is actually use the pen, explain different things on the pen. So, hey, you're going to have progressive lenses. You can explain that. You can show DAR. I don't know if you can see, but we can show if there's reflection on the lenses, we can show what you're going to look like with the frame you just selected with and without AR. So now I'm getting rid of the glare because I can put AR on your lenses. And then again, you can split the screen. So now patient puts on their old glasses and now they can see for themselves what they look like. All right.
We're talking reflection. We're not talking. We're not talking the script anymore. It's how do you see? How do you look?
So process of elimination, you gotta ask them which frame they like the least. I don't like this one. I delete it. Boom. Now I have 3 choices left. I go back to compare. And now what I can do also is share it. So when you share, you click on the photos you want to share because you need somebody else's opinion to choose your friend, your wife, your friend, your coworkers, or whoever. You want to make sure that validate your choice, and then it creates a QR code. So now the patient will use their phone, scan the QR code, and those photos will automatically upload on their phone. From their phone, they can share it to whoever they want.
Amazing.
Okay.
Is there any way, have you investigated this? So you have thoughts on this? Is there a way that you can integrate this with a physical quotation as well?
So we do this for retail chain, not for
I get it.
ECPs. Yeah. And so from there, again, you can share those photos if you need to have them shared. And think also about all the patients that come back and say, hey, that's not the frame that I selected, right? So now you have the photo. Yes, that's the frame. That's the color, et cetera, et cetera. So you can take photos. You can also take videos. So instead of showing photos, you can show what they look like with videos. Probably have a little one here. So
That's exciting, easy,
so again,
and fun.
you go over the frame board.
It helps your patients see
select
them
the photos.
angles of view,
So now think
improving the
about
overall
being able
eyewear
to see
experience.
the side view like this, which you cannot do with a regular mirror. So
Right.
it's really helpful for people who have strong prescription. They cannot choose. They cannot decide. Now it helps you make the frame selection a lot faster.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay, again, it's not there to take pictures of all the frame of all the fretboard. You are in control. You are the optician. You know what you're doing. So you select a few frames, just like you will do 3, maybe 4 tops, and then from there you show them what they look like with the frame.
Really good.
Okay. Jean-Philippe, you still here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
See how simple
You wanna show a simulation of the measurements?
Yes. In fact, as I explained before, when I created the company 31 years ago, the smartphone were not there. In 1994, there were no iPhone. Today, the world changed because when you are selling progressive lenses, your customer, they don't want to read the newspaper anymore. They want to be able to do measurement. They want to be able to see their smartphone 500 times per day. So this is why we do measurement for far vision, but we also do the measurement in near vision using an iPad. And we analyze the movement of the eyes because, as you know, when you have a problem with progressive lenses, the problem is not far vision. The problem is always the near vision or the intermediate vision. And this is why it's the only system where we have a special focus on near vision. And we will be able to show you and how you see in far vision, and we put also a red cross to show you how it is in near vision. So what does it mean? If you have a customer that arrives in your practice, if it's a new customer, just ask them the question, what do you think about your glasses? Do you see well far? Do you see well near? And you see them looking at the smartphone like that. And then you need to ask them, why do you do that? Because I cannot read my smartphone if I don't raise my head. Then you just do the measurement and you will explain them and you will see that they have a regular corridor, so let's say 17 or 18 millimeters. But when we are going to do the measurement, perhaps we will see that they need 12 or 13 millimeters. So then you can explain them, listen, on the new lenses I'm going to order, I will put the near vision exactly where you are looking. So you will never have to do this anymore in your life. If you do that and you explain that to your patient, the patient will always be back to your place because for the first time, he will get it. I don't know if you have, do you have a demo of the measurement? Or I don't know if I can share my screen. Yeah.
So that question I asked you, again, backtracking for a second, remember I asked you, one of the doctors was asking me about the intermediate. But you said that when you log in, you have to log in on a different status when you're logging into the device?
No.
To give you the intermediate, for intermediate measurement.
In fact, it depends on the lens manufacturer. So what does it mean? With some, for example, with Shamir, Essilor, or Hoya, you have, according to the lenses you are going to provide, you have special measurement to do. So what does it mean? For example, I know that some lens manufacturer, they would like for the intermediate vision, they ask you when you order your lenses, the far vision points. The other one will ask you the near vision points. The other one will ask you the how do you call it? Where we have the bifocal, the
Seg height.
yeah, other will ask you the seg height. So according to the lens manufacturer, we measure all the data. So that means you can use the data you want. If you want the seg height, if you want to have the pupil height, if you want to have decentration, we can do all this and all this. You have
So
all the
readings
information you
will,
have.
all the
Yeah.
readings will be in the unit.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want, because you have a tool on your side, if you want, you can do a measurement on your side. You just need to put the thread, and you will see that it's very easy to use.
So it's voice activated. So yes, Frank, you would put on this device on your face that we call it Fred. It's a frame reference device. It's a marker. So you go in the measurement part of it, and then you make sure the frame is adjusted, and then you make sure that the camera is at the eye level of the patient. So there's voice that is explaining what the patient should do. So turn the head left and right, come back to center, and then what it will do. So let's take a quick break here. So while we do this here, when the optician clicks OK on the screen, what happens is there's a countdown. But what's happening here, it's going to take a lot of photos, not just one, but several photos. So those several photos, as Jean-Philippe was explaining earlier, it's basically taking multiple photos, because you see when you do this, patients move, you move, the patients move, everybody moves. So what it will do, it will select the good photos. So let's say the patient blinks and all of a sudden the eyes are closed. So the computer will automatically get rid of that photo. And then it's going to take the median of all the different photos that they took, right? So at some point, my head is tilting up, my head is tilting down, my head is straight, et cetera, et cetera. So within those few seconds, the AI will analyze all these parameters. And then, so that first photo will give you your FAR PD, your fitting height, your pento. And then we're going to take an extra photo. You're going to hand over the iPad to the patient. The patient is going to hold the iPad at their comfortable reading distance. And now this is what the patient, this is what you will see on the screen of the iPad. So there's a white flash, and then same thing, same process. It takes a lot of photos, and then you will go straight to the result page. So there's no manual adjustment to do. Everything is on point. All the cone reflex selection has been done. The boxing has been done, and everything is on point here. So it shows a lot of measurements here. So again, your PD, your fitting height, your pento, your vertex, your wrap, the frame measurement, A, B, bridge, etc. You can select the bevel depth. You can show the lens diameter. But if we talk about near, you have the red dot, and the red dot will show exactly where your eyes converge. So based on this, we're able to place the corridor exactly where you're supposed to be placing the corridor. A lot of times, you give the value to the lab, and the lab will select automatically where they think the corridor should be placed. But as Jean-Philippe will say, then after that, you will see that the patient is looking up or looking down, and they will complain about the progressive, like, well, I don't understand. I have to be chin up when I read. I have to be chin down. That's because the lab made a mistake in placing the corridor where it's supposed to be. So now, since we know exactly where the eyes converge, we can place the corridor at the right spot. And we're the only one on the market that can do that.
Wonderful. Very, very impressive,
Which
guys.
part then that I'm snapping a picture.
It looks, so we're on a single vision. Can you show me how to bring up the near PD measurement again?
You need to do progressive.
You need to do
When
progressive.
you do measurement, you need to do progressive. And the wonderful thing about that, you have nothing to do. You know, how long is it to do a good measurement? Usually few minutes, because you need to make sure it's expensive progressive lenses you are going to sell. With our system, it's very quick. It's only a few seconds. So that means that you will have time, or the dispenser will have time to know better their customer, to know their needs. So this is what we are doing. You know, the idea about artificial intelligence is not to replace, it's to help you to do your job better, and you will have time to talk to your patient to know better what they need. Do they golf? Do they run? Do they bike? So perhaps you have a second pair to sell. But in order to know that, you need to talk to your patient.
Well, that's the education part.
Yeah.
You're just giving them, because they have no idea. They're dependent on you. Now, if you're spending half an hour with them and you're with all the different options and everything that this unit gives you, like the amount of detail. Like again, you've got the optical side, and then for the diagnostic, but then you got the fashion side too.
Yeah.
Like it's endless. Like you could talk about, you could turn a 15-minute into 1 hour in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It can show you if a frame is a good match or if
Okay.
the lens is good as well. So for example, this gentleman, as you can see, the red dots are really, really low. So maybe he wears to wear his glasses a lot lower because they're pretty high on his face now, or he needs a deeper frame, right? So as you see, if I put the corridor 19, it will cut off pretty, it's going to be hard for him to. Okay. Same thing, people always assume that for near PD, you just deduct, from the far. But if you do this, you never know. Some people don't converge at all. Some people may converge more on one eye. So you never know. And people have crooked nose as well. So the frame doesn't sit properly on the nose, and everything will be shifted. So based on how you converge, you can see also if a certain type of progressive lenses, the patient will be able to see and how the lens is supposed to perform through the lens, right? So if you cut off the near the wrong way, or if it doesn't have a nice freeform lens, maybe the patient is going to complain, like, when I move my eyes to the left, I don't see at all. So now with this, the type of lenses they should get, the type of frame, if the frame that they've chosen is the right match for them as well. So there's a lot of things that make your job a lot easier and better for you to explain to the patient, the right choice of frame and the right choice of lenses.
Yep.
You're good, eh?
Yeah. Very, very impressed. Very impressed.
Good. If you like what you're hearing and seeing, please push the like or the subscribe button. And again, I just want to keep sharing the knowledge from the past 16 years. So help me spread the word.